Hello, dear friends. This is Domas reporting from a forest in Lithuania. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. Just finished my studies today, had some food, and thought I'll record something for you. Got a comment from a friend that has a schizophrenia and schizotypal personality disorder, and she said something about caffeine, and I don't know about you, but coffee makes me a bit more alive. I don't know, I think it's like a placebo thing, but we lie to ourselves constantly in order to feel better, I think. So, but some things are like definitely helping. For example, medication. So if you have schizophrenia and you don't take your medication, I've noticed that people go, sooner or later they go off the rails. And I mean, looking at them and talking to people that have schizophrenia, even I know some people personally that have it, that don't admit that they have it, you know. They usually use some substances, and those substances usually take them out of their normal self. Like if they take medication, they're fine, you know. They're not, as my friend who has schizophrenia said, why is it that when I'm good, it's not good for anybody else, or when it is not good for me, it's good for everyone else? Why do I have to feel like shit for others to feel good, you know? And when I feel good, others feel like shit. And I think that's the best kind of description of like a psychotic episode or psychosis or whatever you call it, when, you know, one goes on an episode with schizophrenia. Schizo, I think, means split. So it's like a split personality. It's not bipolar, but it's like a split happens when all of a sudden I think the amplitude of your energy gets differentiated a lot, and it goes like up and down really quickly, and the amplitude is huge. The difference between good and bad emotions, and they're all kind of at the same time. But my friends who have this, they usually use substances when that happens. Usually something starts that. And I wanted to talk about stpd as well. For example, when I use substances, and I've been diagnosed with stpd, I go off the rails, but for a long time I might not even understand it. Like, it's true, like I don't feel 100% good when I'm just living life, when I'm sober, when I'm having my daily routines, when I'm going to work, when I'm going to studies. Like, I don't necessarily feel great and ecstatic and amazing, you know. I just feel kind of normal, like everything's kind of plain and just stable, normal. And you want that sort of excitement, but that excitement, which usually drugs or alcohol brings, that excitement, that's what gets you out of your normal, like that boring life, let's call it. But with coffee, for example, it's not so strong. It still is there. Like the psychosis kind of is very mild. But if you're extra sensitive, I can see how that can affect somebody. So for me, it's like, yeah, I want to quit substances that I'm taking now that are not very good for me, like coffee as well. But I'm still kind of driven by it. I don't see how I can quit it, because I don't know, it feels like it's giving me some energy, some thoughts, some driving force. But I could be wrong. It could be another placebo thing. So we'll see. But with everything else, like if I started smoking weed or drinking alcohol, I would feel ecstatic. I would feel amazing. And at the same time, the next morning I would feel like shit. So I would need more of that substance. So it ties in very well with addictions, this schizotypal personality disorder. Like if you want to get out of balance, the quickest way is to use substances. So now when I'm watching TV or some series and I see people like teenagers drinking, and I'm thinking about myself in my young age. Well, I'm still young, but in my early days of drinking, and I think how pivotal, if that's the right word, how pivotal that those moments were, because that's where my addiction started. Like the first drinks, the first beers, the first strong drinks, the first smokes, everything. I feel shame, I feel like my life could have been completely different if I didn't take those actions. But here I am. I did what I did, and that probably affected me strongly. But if you have schizophrenia, or you have stpd, I highly recommend staying off substances that weren't recommended by a doctor or prescribed by a doctor, because that shit will kill you. If not fast, then slowly. And I bet that it feels great. I bet that it feels like amazing being on a high. It feels like you can destroy mountains, and and sometimes it feels really bad when you're really low. But you're not here to destroy mountains. You're here to build something. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can just be you. It can be your personality, your life, what you want to share with the world. Heck, even talking about your illness can be a good way to help other people. Like these people have amazing minds. It's just something gets triggered. Like I didn't have any bad experiences with my friend, but because he was smoking weed, I sooner rather than later started to have difficulties communicating with him, because I've quit by that time when I met him. So, but he didn't, and I didn't go back to the hospital. He went there, I don't know, at least 2 times that I know of, maybe more by now, since last 10 months. So I'm really wishing you well. Hope that you find what you are looking for, whether you're looking for anything. This video, I just wanted to talk about these things because of one viewer that has commented, and I wanted to say that you're stronger than you think. You've got more power than you think. You are more sensitive than you think, and you have all the power in your hands to change something if you want about your life. And it's more about what you don't do rather than what you do. So don't do things that will shift your mind to a worst case scenario. You know, you're better than that. And hopefully you find the peace, the inner peace. Everything happens now, so every moment you have a choice. Even if a moment ago you were drinking, like we have a lot of people like that in the AA community that would just come the next day, or even when they were still drinking, they would come to a meeting, and some of them stay, some of them don't. But it's really good to see people like waking up and wanting to clear their brains, clear their minds and souls from things that aren't good for them, that aren't beneficial for them. So things can build slowly, and you can take small steps towards a brighter future. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and get some inspiration from it to do what you have to do. Sorry, it's a bit dark because of the sun. It's beautiful and sunny, so it's nice. Get outside, go for a walk, and clear your mind. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, morning, evening, nighttime. This was Domas, and I love you all, guys. Take care. Peace.